also, too, we just really like to thank Edith Arce and her family for having opened up the Indian Village again. I think that's really special. So anyway, I'm going to turn the program over to Kurt. And we have few enough people. Normally on our forums, what we'll do is hand out file cards for questions and trying to keep it in a concise, 1 hour period. We will address as many questions as we can at the session. What doesn't get answered, we'll bring to the next month's and revisit that again. But I'm going to go check with the kitchen, and I'm going to let Kurt take it away. And he is going to give us some pros and cons, and if you're already ready to say this, with using social media in your business marketing.
Yes.
So, Kurt, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Social media is a topic I can talk about for hours, so I will try to keep it concise, but it's something that I'm kind of have a unique background in, and that I've been in Lakeview for almost 2 years now, but before that I spent 12 years in Los Angeles working in the entertainment industry. I was one of the original employees of a company called MySpace, MySpace.com. In 2004, it became the #1 website in the world and the first premier social media site to really blow up. Social media is now something that has become a part of our daily lives. Everyone has a computer, everyone has a phone in their pocket, and you're interconnected with the world. I have friends from all over the world, people I keep in contact with on a consistent basis I have never met face to face. People that live in Thailand, in Japan, in Germany, all over the world. That is what social media has brought to us, is a way to interconnect throughout the globe beyond our initial borders. How that applies to your business is that you can directly correlate not only with local customers, but beyond if you market on an outside scale. At this point, social media has blown up to where there's hundreds of different niche avenues to be able to reach your audience for whatever your target audience may be. Now, it's a little bit tricky in Lake County because 1, we are geographically very isolated, and 2, we have a very small population base. Therefore, a lot of the more minor sites you may not really target here as opposed to the ones that are more popular, because it's a matter of where your audience is and the audience that you're trying to reach. If there's not a lot of people here who use one of the smaller sites, there's not a lot of reason to really focus on those smaller sites, because it's a matter of how many people are you actually going to reach with your operation. Whether it's marketing, promotion of a new sale, or dispersing information, maybe there's a change in the date of an upcoming event, you want to be able to spread the word. And so utilizing social media doesn't mean that you only use social media. There's still the traditional avenues: terrestrial radio, flyers, mailings, print advertising, whatever avenue. It's an all-encompassing thing to provide information across the board. So this really started in the early 80s as personal home computer development began, and this is where there can be a little bit of a gap and misunderstanding with social media, because I'm 36 now, so people of my age were the first ones that grew up with computers in the home, grew up with computers in the school, and so from the ages of 3, 4 years old, it's an intuitive, learned process. For anyone older than us, it's an adaptive process where you've had to acquire computer skills later on in life. How many times have you had to, purchase a new piece of electronic equipment, get frustrated and ask your 10-year-old kid to come in and they push 3 buttons and it works within 30 seconds? It's an intuitive, learned skill that they've had because they've grown up with the technology throughout. So social media was just a spin-off of this adaptive technology of having a computer in the home. You have a computer in the home, and now it can connect with other computers and you can talk to other computer users. So it started in the early 80s, but it really wasn't until the early 2000s when the technology allowed enough broadband technology for almost all the computers globally to be connected and to speak on a fast enough speed. So MySpace was where it really kind of blew up in 2005. It was an interesting time. I had left Universal Records, the largest music company in the world, to start a small little startup company. I was tired of the big corporate machine. And so myself and about 30 other people started this little .com, and within 6 months we were the #1 website in the world. We had more traffic than Yahoo and Google. From that point on, while MySpace has fallen off, the model that MySpace created then led to a new site called Facebook.com, which everyone in this room, I'm sure, has a Facebook site. If you don't, you're kind of missing out, especially if you're running a business. It's kind of a mandatory thing that your business has a Facebook page. So everything that encompasses Facebook, the foundation was MySpace, which we started about a decade ago, and it continues now to spin off of that. Facebook is thought of as kind of the main hub think of it like a wheel and spoke, kind of like how the airlines work. Facebook is the number one, all-seeing, all-powerful, and then there's peripheral ones that branch out, that cover particular niches. Now there's others that are more kind of second tier that get huge traffic. Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and beyond that, there's hundreds more that spin off to target very specific audiences. For Lake County, because of our population base and because of our geographical distance, if you're trying to target an audience base that's exclusively local, it makes sense to stick to the primary ones because that's where the audience is. If you're doing online sales, like for example, I know Feather Your Nest does a lot of eBay sales. One area where she targets a lot is video games. She purchases used video games and sells them online. The retro video game market has blown up in the last couple of years. Prices have gone through the roof as nostalgic people my age who grew up playing video games suddenly want to collect the games from their youth. So there are games now that she's had and that were worth hundreds of dollars that she's been able to turn around and sell via eBay. Now, you can just list those on the site itself, or you can utilize various social media sites that target an audience, like sites dedicated to video games and the appreciation of video games, to announce, hey, I have this game up for sale, here's the link, go to it. Now for the local businesses, depending on what your business is, through all the traditional avenues that you've utilized, whether it's word of mouth, flyers, radio, print, and advertising in the newspaper, this is one more avenue to be able to spread information. And it's the fastest possible way to get information out there. It works great for things like a single day sale. Say you have excess inventory at Les Schwab of a new item that you came in and you want to discount it, but you want to kind of spread the word about it. Or if you're having a special sale, certainly, flyers are great, but there's a way through social media that you can spread that word. Now, I know it can seem a little daunting knowing, well, okay, I'm on here, I may talk to family, every now and then I see what my kids are doing, but I don't really know how to utilize it. It's actually really simple with a couple of preliminary steps to get set up where you can make daily announcements. Now, it's a matter of what you want to do to reach your audience. From the Lake County Examiner's perspective, in the year and a half that I've been here, we have quadrupled our social media presence since from the time I came on and took over social media to now. The reason for that is targeting what our audience wants and how it can cater to that audience. Now, we always have our traditional product, which is our print newspaper. But how can we also reach maybe younger kids that are not necessarily reading the newspaper, but might still be interested in what's going on? So we created a plan of marketing where we present one video a day through our social media sites, and we post at least one article that is available on our website through our social media to redirect traffic back to our website. Now, we generate ad revenue off of anyone who comes to our website, so it is actually a profit base. And there are a lot of different ways where you can generate profits to it. Now, I could go for hours into how, but really it's a matter of utilizing what is available and the target audience here to be able to reach them with the most recent information that you have. There's multiple ways where you can go, the main ones around here that I would say that people utilize, Facebook of course is the big one. Twitter is also very large. Pinterest is very large. YouTube is large here. And to an extent, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more specialized for resumes and for networking. But if you think Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter is too much to do, I've got all this stuff I need to do during the day, you can target either one employee in-house or maybe even a kid who is very internet savvy to set up something within about 10-15 minutes. There are aggregate social media sites. The one that I like to use is called Hootsuite, which I have on my phone. And it allows you to connect to all of your various sites simultaneously. So you can make one post, click, 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 and it goes out to all of them.
What was that that you mentioned?
It's called Hootsuite, H-O-O-T-S-U-I-T-E. And so your company, you can set up a Facebook profile, you can set up a Twitter profile, Google plus all the other different ones. Hootsuite, like an owl. Hootsuite. And it's an aggregate site. There's several aggregate ones. This is a free mobile
What
phone
does
app.
that mean, Kurt? An
An aggregate means that it's taking multiple sites and combining them into one singular place. So if you wanted to say announce that you're having a special, say, we're at a restaurant today, so you can announce the daily special for today. I saw it's 2 tomahawks for $4. So if I wanted to say that, but I don't want to go through the process of putting that on Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and everywhere else, I can snap a photo with my phone. One photo, say today's special is such and such, or maybe record a quick little video. Hey, here at the Indian Village today, we've got tomahawks, 2 for $4. Once that's saved onto your phone, I use Hootsuite. One button press to say I want it to post here, 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 and here, and it goes out, where it automatically sends out the photo or the video I made along with the message to my Facebook, to my Pinterest, to my Twitter, everywhere that I want it to go. The aggregate site allows you to save time by, at the very start, you just punch in all the passwords that you're going to set up for your profile. So you set up your profiles on each site individually, which may be 10, 15 minutes of work, so that you have pages set up. And then from that point on, it's a one button press to spread whatever message you want to send out that day. Hootsuite, I think, is the most user-friendly one. That's the one that I tend to use. But there's multiple ones out there that you can use for social media aggregators. So it's one more avenue that you can utilize to spread news, to spread the word. That doesn't mean that you should abandon other advertising avenues. It's a matter of reaching your audience, who your audience is, and what you want to convey to them. If you have a sale coming up, if you have a special, if you have a big important event, it's important to get the word out, and there's multiple avenues to make sure that you reach your maximum audience base. Social media is the new revolution. It's the new direction for advertising, and there's lots of different ways that people are utilizing it to advertise, whether it's direct advertising or subtle advertising. There's things that you may have heard the term called clickbait. Clickbait is something that's posted through social media intended to get the person who's on Facebook or whatever site they're using to come to that company's individual website. The idea being that once you come to that website, they're going to generate ad revenue from the advertisements that are placed on that website. So they'll entice you with things like, this woman was walking her dog, you won't believe what happened when, ... When what happened? I'm going to click on that and go see, and it turns out it's a slideshow with 10 different pages in there of photos, and the reason why you have to click through each one is because each time you click to see the next photo, they're generating more ad revenue. It's an advertisement that they're running you through. Or, you won't believe what happened when this, or 19 best somethings. You'll see these flooded through Facebook, and all of them are advertising, trying to generate revenue on their end. This is something that you can utilize on your own. I find them a little shady, but I mean, it's something that you can utilize to generate a profit. Now, advertising on your website, if you have your own website. I know for some of the corporate branches, they may have certain restrictions, or they may set up your site. So for like Les Schwab or Subway or True Value, they may have a site from the corporate end that links to it. But individual places, if you're unsure on how to create your website, there are people you can hire to generate websites. There's also sites like Wix.com that allow you to very easily design your own website. You don't need to throw a lot of stuff in there, but you want to have a website that you can direct people from social media to your site. It's a way to contact the audience that's here in Lake County and redirect them to your individual site so you can announce upcoming events or sales or promotional items. And if you have your own site, there's subsites that you can use that automatically generate advertising for your site. So you can instantly make a profit off of that if you can get people redirecting to your individual website. It can also lead to, if you have online sales, you can post your online sales on your website through various widgets. I'll use the example for Feather Your Nest again. eBay has a little thing where you can embed onto your site whatever sales you're currently doing on eBay. So if she has her own website up and running, posts on, say, Facebook and Twitter, hey, this is currently available for sale on eBay. Here's this great new item that we got. It can redirect back to her website, where not only is she going to make profit on whatever the final tally is on that eBay sale, but also on advertising revenue from people being redirected back to her website. This is something that I've seen here, compared to the larger cities that I've been in, I've been a social media manager for multiple companies, but I've seen it evolve over time from a fun way for friends to connect that was largely focused on a teen crowd to now parents and grandparents now have Facebook pages because they want to be in touch with their kids. So it's becoming an adaptive global thing. Like I said, I have friends from around the world who I've never physically met face to face, but are some of my closest friends. That's the difference that social media has made in our world. And to not take advantage of that in some way, whether you're simply trying to get a couple more customers locally in the door, or maybe to make your presence known for people who are passing through on the highway, or if you have online sales. Some of the examples I can think of in-house right now, senior center. You hold lunches 3 times a week, right? So, we announced in the paper what those lunches are, and you can also just easily create a Facebook page where you announce those. You could also create a Twitter, and you can snap a photo of it, of whatever that lunch is, create one plate, send out the photo attached with it saying, hey, cost is this, we'll be serving it for this amount of time, and blast that out using Hootsuite or another aggregate site to every single one of your social media pages. So, there's lots of different nuance of this. In terms of good and bad, there is a possible downside if you abuse it or if you do something that's going to create a negative light upon you. I could go into lots of examples, but I'll cite one example of last year there was a woman who had a federal job who was flying from the U.S. to South Africa. And before she got on the plane at the terminal, she made a very bad joke about HIV flying to Africa, and the 14 or so hour flight, she didn't have Wi-Fi in the plane. By the time she landed, the tweet that she had sent out had trended globally, which means, the term going viral. Think of the old game of telephone when we were in school, how word can spread. If someone picks up on something, good or bad, that word can spread like lightning to the point where by the time she landed in Africa, she was trending globally. Millions of people knew her based only on this one bad joke that she had made. There was a message from her boss saying that she had been fired. There were thousands and thousands of messages that she had received on her phone, calling her the absolute scum of the earth. Now, was it a joke in bad taste? Yes. Did she deserve to be vilified on a global scale? Absolutely not. But that's the potential. And so there's certain areas where if you're representing a business, it's the no-brainers. You want to try to avoid religion. You want to try to avoid politics. You want to try to avoid racial things. Anything that's really super sensitive, that's hot-button topics. If what you post online is a representative of you, it therefore reflects upon whatever company you represent. So there is a possible downside of some possible backlash, but you just have to be smart about it. At the same time, you can get a lot of positive response and a great following if you're timely and following with something poignant. The internet is and social media in particular, has become known as an area of great sarcasm and jokes. If you have a great sense of humor, you can really get a strong following and audience well beyond Lake County's borders. Thousands upon thousands of people following you based on having some wit. At the same time, also being timely if something is very heartfelt and sincere. It may not be something related to your business directly, but for example, this weekend we had the Winter Gala, and simply just a quick message congratulating maybe some of the winners and showing the appreciation of what they've done in the community can in turn reflect positively on your own company. It doesn't always completely have to be about your company. In terms of what I've seen here in the time I've been here, I think the company in town that does the best job of promoting themselves through social media has been Bloomer's Country Nursery. Danae, Darcy, and Tammy do a great job focusing primarily on Facebook. They should focus maybe more on Pinterest because that site is really focused on imagery and aesthetics and decor, and that's really the core of their business. So that's where the core of their audience would be. But they do a great job of taking photos of new displays that they have in their business and announcing, hey, we just added this, or we have this sale coming up. And they try to be active with it. With the Examiner, we try to post something, at least one thing every single day to stay active within our audience, within our followers. They do a good job of presenting their new product. And whether it's a new product or whether it's an announcement, say there's something coming up at the courthouse, or you just want to send a reminder, jury duty, you have to call in at this set time. Reaching more people, because inevitably there's someone who forgets to call in, right? They end up in trouble as a result of that. Just simply doing a quick 5-10 second blast, remember jury duty is set for this date, can remind people, oh, that's right, okay, set it in my phone, Monday morning, I gotta do this. We live by our phones now, we live by our computers. I know I have to set alarms telling me every 5 minutes, be here, dummy, or else I'll forget to cover the news story for the newspaper. So being able to reach people, last night at 10:36 p.m., I was on Twitter and I saw a message that music icon David Bowie had died. Within 5 minutes, that was trending globally. Millions of people had found it within a 5-minute time frame of that incident. That's the power of this. Now, that's on a macro scale globally, but micro level here. Just this morning, I posted a video that we showed at the Winter Gala on Saturday. And within 5 minutes, 15 people had shared that across their Facebook pages, their Facebook profiles. I don't even know what it's up to right now, but I have at least 12 Facebook messages on my phone right now, which is more people either sharing it or commenting about one single video that we posted. That's just people here locally who are following us, who are attached and connected via social media that are then going to turn around and share that with each other. So you can spread virally. Now that's just kind of a feel-good, happy thing about community spirit, but it could just as easily be announcing a sale that we have or a special event. If a company has excess inventory, Dan Henderson over at True Value realizes that they got excess of this thing and he just wants it out because he doesn't have room. He can announce 25% off sale if you come in and mention that you saw this on Facebook. Blast it out and see how many people come in that day. When you start to develop more of an audience and a following through consistent posting online, like with the Examiner, we try to do one thing a day. Once we got into that mold, we quadrupled our audience level. We now have thousands of people. In a place like Lake County, that's a big deal to have over 2,000 people in Lake County following just our Facebook content alone, much as our Pinterest and Twitter and other sites too. So being able to reach people, especially in our world where we only print traditionally once a week, when we're covering, say, a basketball game that happened last night, we want to announce what the final score was. Well, we can wait 5 days until the newspaper comes out, or we can post a photo from the game, or we can post a short video from the game, or we can announce a quick summary and spread the word that way and say, hey, if you want more details about the game, pick up the next Lake County Examiner. That way we're still promoting our product. We're giving a snippet of what's available, keeping people up to date with the news while still promoting our product, because our product is the traditional print newspaper. If you want the full details, you can go to the newspaper or you can go to our website where we'll generate ad revenue off of people coming directly to the site, which we redirect from our social media, or we'll give little snippets just saying, little appetizers, saying, we have this bit of information. If you want to know more, you better not forget our newspaper. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use social media to help spread the word, but really it is about information and interconnectivity, both locally with our population base, as well as if you want to reach outside borders. Because of this social media connection, you're no longer restricted to just a Lake County audience for whatever your business may be. You can sell product online on a global scale, even from a place as isolated as Lakeview, Oregon. Are there any questions? Anything specific that you want me to go into?
So from a financial aspect, how does the sale of ads on that online compare to what you do in a paper? When I get to those things online, I just hit close.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
every once in a while, it'll catch my eye and I'll read it.
Right.
95% of them I'm not even looking at.
Here's the nice thing about online advertising is that it doesn't matter if you read it or not. Just the fact that you're visiting the page alone generates ad revenue. So if you load any website that has an ad on the sidebar or it has a banner ad, it is going to aggregate a certain dollar amount or penny amount that then gets tallied for a monthly payout from Google Ads is the main one. So through google.com, they will auto-generate ads for you on your website. And for every single time that someone visits that site, it logs that as a site visit. Now you get even more revenue if they click on that ad. And then you get a monthly report saying site visits, click-throughs, here's the amount you earned, and you did absolutely nothing to earn that extra dollars. Now, depending around here, because of our population base, again, we're not going to see the massive numbers like I saw in Hamlet social media in Los Angeles with various companies. But is an extra maybe 10 to 15 customers a day or an extra $100 to $200 a month in ad revenue going to make a difference in your bottom line? I think it would for a place like Lake County, as well as letting people know who may be traveling through on the highway. We have this lifeline that comes right through the heart of our community, knowing, hey, you know, if you're coming through this area, you think that you've got hundreds of miles to go with absolutely nothing, but 1 block away from the highway, here's the Indian Village where you can stop and get lunch. If you're aware of it, if people are aware of what you have, you've already won half the battle right there. It's just simple awareness and spreading of information to then entice them to come see more. Now, you can either provide more information directly through your social media, or you can just simply use it as an avenue, a platform to send people to your direct website, or to get people interested in your individual advertising or whatever upcoming event you may have. It's a tool to promote and to market and to generate profits. Best part of all is that having a Facebook page is free. Having a Pinterest profile is free. Having a Twitter profile is free. It doesn't mean you abandon whatever else you're doing in terms of whatever advertising budget you set aside. But free advertising, to be able to access an audience today that is local, as well as expanding beyond your borders, so that you can kind of focus on what are the aspects of your business and figure out what is it that you want to let people know about your business that they may not know.
Okay, I'm an old guy. That doesn't mean that I'm completely stupid. But here's this young lady here that's taking notes on her phone. We're
Yes.
still writing it on pad. So, you know, and we have a business, so we're trying to promote our business. We
Absolutely.
advertise and all this stuff. We're not driving a lot of people to our store. So I've got to go outside and do something, which obviously social media is going to help generate some outside sales. I have the ability to have customers outside this area, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Now, I'm not stupid. I use computers for graphics, for cutting designs. I use a lot of, I've got 5 computers I utilize in my business. Photos, all this kind of stuff. But trying to get from where we are here, we're writing notes, to what you're describing
Yes.
is a big area for me.
Okay.
Okay? So you have some kind of recommendation for education that I
Absolutely.
can study and maybe comprehend, because what you're saying, I'm going Pentax or Target or this or that.
There are tons of tutorials and marketing tips designed from. Do you remember all of the how to do for dummies books that they used to come out with in the 90s? Now all of that is online and it's available, and it starts from the absolute never ever first time computer users up to experts. in
That's
terms
through
of-
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is a great example. So all you would have to do is go to youtube.com and type in how to create a Facebook profile
Okay.
for my business.
I utilize this in a lot of my graphics and designs and
Yes.
all this stuff. I never thought of utilizing it for this. You just tipped me off to
Yes.
that, because I've got books on all this stuff. I'm still a book learning. Like, she's typing on her phone, we're writing it down, so I'm still got concentrating on books, not what you're saying. And I've got to utilize Google, YouTube for education purposes.
Yes.
And that's where now it motivates me to start utilizing this stuff, so I can learn it, to apply it to our business and how to present our products to the world, if you want to call it that.
Absolutely. So say you dedicate half an hour of watching a couple of videos on YouTube tonight or in the next couple of days of tutorials. here are some basic marketing ideas of how to use Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, how to create.
What's that, pin what?
Pinterest, Pinterest. Pinterest,
Okay.
Pinterest is one of the second-tier major sites. So Facebook is kind of the big one, all-encompassing. Everyone should have a Facebook page. Doesn't mean that you only exclusively do Facebook. The nice thing is a lot of these sites you can interlink either through Hootsuite, like I mentioned before, or some of them allow you to what's called a repost. So, for example, I have it set up for the Examiner where every time that I post something on Facebook, it automatically reposts on our Twitter. So it will automatically, that way it's saving me time. I could manually go in and post something as well, and I often do, but I can set it up with a little bit of front end work. You can make the rest of it really easy. So you can have it set up where it'll automatically repost as need be. And there's some tutorials that will be able to guide you through that entire process of starting from an absolute ground level. If you don't have a Facebook page, or if you created one and then have maybe never done anything, having consistent activity draws people in to want to see what you're doing. The nice thing about social media is that it's viral whether people are directly interacting with you or not, because it works in a way where Facebook will not only post what other people are saying, but it will also show what other people that you are connected with are doing on their side of things. So it'll tell you such and such liked this business. That then announces it to all of their friends that they are now connected to vendors. They're now following you online to all of their several hundred friends. So some of them might click on it to see, well, why is my friend following this? I'm going to follow that too. Now, if you start posting stuff on a consistent basis, say every day or every other day, you just snap a quick photo with your phone of a product that you have in your store and say, we have this available for this amount, stop on by, our hours are this, and you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to generate an interest in what you have. You're exposing your products to a larger audience, and it's allowing it, once it's online, for others to then also announce that to their friends.
Okay, I can see that because we're now doing our float exchange. We go down to LA and I work for a float company and we make Roseberry floats. And what we did is posted some pictures to Bev, and I didn't get a chance to post a lot, but I can understand now that creates the interest, and we got people from outside the area that we've known for years that have moved away from the LA and our group that are saying, oh, I like this, oh great, it looks good. So now I can understand that application, how we can now enlarge that to our own business.
Yes.
And it's not difficult, it's just finding the procedure, the steps to do.
A little tiny of front-end work just to get your operation set up can make it a once-a-day, one-button click where you're interacting with your audience that they're after. Setting up an aggregator, like
What?
an aggregator like Hootsuite that I mentioned earlier. Now I can snap a photo in here saying, here's the very first Lake County Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn. Snap a photo of it, one button on Hootsuite, and I've just posted that on the Lake County Examiner's Facebook page, Pinterest page, Twitter page.
So basically then, what I'm hearing, it's not really difficult,
No.
they're just finding the procedure
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
able to do it.
and if you're unsure of it, I know Tuli mentioned question and answer, and also for any follow-up too. This is an area that I've worked in for well over a decade. I'm happy to help out and answer any questions, give some basic guidance on how are we doing on time, Tuli?
It's 10 minutes to 1.
Oh, okay. And just simply go to Google and say, how do I for my business? How do I
You might throw out your contact information, because
Yes.
again, I don't want to make myself out to be stupid, but I need some direction sometimes to be able to.
I help my grandparents get their computer all set up.
I'm as old as your grandparents.
I set up a camera on their computer so they could talk to their grandkids, and my grandmother was terrified that if she pushed the wrong button, someone would jump out of the camera and yell at her. So I understand that's the growing up with it versus learned technology. Technology is constantly moving. I'm still learning about new stuff that's coming out on a daily basis. But because I grew up with electronics in my home from the time I was 3 or 4 years old. Both my parents were school teachers. And Apple computers in the early 80s made a very smart long-term planning move where they gave free computers to schools across the board. So from the time I was 3 years old, we had an Apple IIe computer in my house that I grew up with. And all teachers around the country, public school teachers, got free computers. The schools got free computers, which meant that the kids grew up using those computers. So when they were suddenly of age to have money to purchase their own computer, they would then buy Apple computers. That's why Apple now dominates the computer market. Yes.
So I have a question about, I run the Facebook page for LCRI.
Yes.
And our WordPress and like all that stuff. And so we don't necessarily like have things to post every day because we're
Right.
just doing office work. It's like if we go somewhere and do something, I'll post about that. And so I really want to increase the number of people that like the page and more traffic because we only have like 80 or something right now. But I don't really know how to do that when there's not relevant
Fill the
things.
void with unique content. Now, LCRI, a lot of what you're doing is improvement, economic improvement, and it ties in with what LCP is doing, community
Yeah.
pride.
Oh, yeah, I run that page
Yeah.
too.
So a great way to fill that void is providing content on a more consistent basis that showcases more community pride. Maybe you don't always have something new with LCRI to promote at the moment. That's okay. You can interact in other ways of being topical with news that's happening around Lake County, presenting that. Presenting, one thing we've gotten a lot of traction with the newspaper was I collected a lot of historic photos. And I've done a lot of study of history. And so presenting each week in our newspaper a historic photo with a little multiple choice quiz. A lot of photos are available online, or you can talk to the local museums about getting access to old historic photos, or just photos from local events, taking videos. Any of the videos that the Lake County Examiner has created, we try to post them on a daily basis, they're available for anyone else to share and embed on their own sites too. So you can just as easily take the video, for example, that I posted this morning that was shown at the Winter Gala. At the same time, I also have a video that's going up online today of the gala itself. So you can say for anyone who missed the annual Winter Gala, here's the link and embed it onto your site. Just because it isn't something that directly LCRI is doing doesn't necessarily mean that you can't post that through their content. You can just as easily be a part of the online community through promoting the physical community.
Could you also do something that's like promoting different projects nationwide?
Absolutely.
That you can fill
Yeah.
void, like an article or something like that you can find.
Absolutely.
Like the weather, and then how something geothermal would help
Yeah.
someone's home.
Something that is
You know,
gauging
something
your interest is probably going to gauge the interest of other people in the community as well. So you don't have to it doesn't have to 100% be about your business and what you're doing all the time. It's about interaction. If you engage with the community, they're going to be more interested in what you have to present when there is something specific to your company. So if you're taking the time to promote an upcoming event in the community that maybe you're a sponsor of, or maybe you're just going to be attending. Hey, just a reminder, there's a basketball game tonight. Come out and support the Hawkers. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And you're being part of the community, just like you may physically be a part of the community in the stands at the game. You can also be a part of that online community, reminding people, hey, there's a game tonight. Don't come out, wear your blue and yellow and support the team. Then you can follow that up with saying, hey, just so you know, we have a sale going on this week of Honker gear. Stop on by. If you mention that you saw this on Facebook, get an extra 10% off or something like that. However you want to do it. But creating an avenue to interact with the community physically as you see them in your business and traveling around town, as well as online, means that you can reach a greater scope of people in general. And it doesn't have to be just about you. It can be about anything. But with what LCRI does, following in the theme of what you do, a great avenue would be to simply promote things happening around the community, as well as community pride. Past events, present events, historic photos, old videos, anything that relates in some way to a positive spin on Lakeview and Lake County in general, I think would be a fantastic thing to put out on a daily basis. And the end result of that is that people will find out about you doing that on a daily basis, and you'll gain a larger following.
I have another question. So for, like, we have the WordPress site
Mhm.
that we do any blog posts on that.
Yes,
And that connects automatically and posts on our Facebook page.
great.
But sometimes I'm like not sure about if I should do it on a blog post or like a shorter thing on the Facebook or which, like.
It depends on the length that the blog posts are. Now, if you don't know what a blog is, it's a weblog. Think of it like an online diary where you can post updates and information. Basically, it's posting of an article, however you want to create it, but it's an online version of it. What she's saying is that she's posting weblogs, so announcing, hey, LCRI did this in the community this week, and so she's writing a recap of it on her blog. Then she's taking the link from that and posting it on the Facebook page. What that is doing is if you post the direct URL from your blog into
Yeah.
Facebook as opposed to embedding the entire text, you can maybe put the first paragraph
Yeah.
of it and then say, for more, click here. To continue
We see
reading.
that all the time.
Click
You
here.
click on that to read the balance of the text or the article.
Exactly, and what that'll do is it'll redirect to the LCR website. It'll have the full article right there
Right.
that people can then read it in full.
Yeah, I need to see how mine does that because it, like, the second you post something on WordPress, it goes right to the Facebook without doing anything.
Mhm.
So I need to like
That-
see what's happening.
Yeah, that means there's an auto repost that's been
Yeah.
built into the WordPress admin, which is really easy to turn on and turn off. Just go into the admin site, and there should be a social media section there that can point you to it. And if you don't want to have that active, it should be just be a one-button click. I've done a lot of WordPress websites, so it's pretty basic. Is there anything? I know we're running short on time. Anything else that people want me to cover? Like I said, this is something I could talk about for hours on end because I've worked in it. We didn't talk about hats, right? So, well, in terms of it's custom designs, right? So you have a product that is customized that requires feedback from the clients, and I'm sure you take measurements and everything physically, but there's also a way that you can promote that online through simple taking photos of completed projects, as well as it's a way that you could showcase the process. You could show the start to the finish, create a little photo album or photo montage taking photos of here's the time it takes, here's the time we put in towards dedicating towards making sure your hat is as top quality as it can possibly be. Go through the process, take a bunch of photos of here's the raw materials, day 2, day 3, day 4, however long it may take to make a hat, to show here's the finished product. And you can create photo albums in Facebook. It's not just a matter of one photo. You can go into your photos section and create an entire album. So you can create themes. So sales, items in store, the process of making a hat. You can go through the step-by-step process and post however many photos you want within that one particular album to present the entire process. Now you're presenting a visual aspect to your business, not just explaining it in detail.
Okay, now, so we've got our company, Fiesta Playing Floats that I work for.
Yes.
Built 9 floats, we got 8 winners. So I'm gonna post the 8 winners on Facebook. So you're talking about an album.
Yes.
How do I create an album?
Well, on your Facebook page, there's a button that says Photos.
Okay.
And then you click on that and it leads you to a subpage where it will automatically show you all of the most recent photos that have been posted on your page there. But there's another button that says Albums. And so it's a subsection where you can go to Albums, and then there'll be a big button that says Create New Album. And then that'll pop up a window that says Upload, and so any photos that are saved onto your computer, you can then select, I want these 10 to be
So it doesn't have to
uploaded.
be your phone, you can go and on the computer then.
Yeah, you can do it on your computer. You can also do it through your phone. However you connect to the site is how you can
Okay.
post the content.
I want to do that with the 8 winners we have. Let people
Can you
see.
say anything about Instagram? And I
Yes.
see a lot of.
Yes, Instagram is another great one. Instagram as well as Pinterest. Instagram works really well with Twitter as well. I have it set up where we have Instagram that auto reposts to Twitter that auto reposts to Facebook. So I snap one photo and mention a quick line. Instagram, think of it like old Polaroid cameras. You snap a photo and it pops out, you shake it for a minute, and all of a sudden you have a photo right there. Instagram is a photo sharing social media site that people that they can then leave comments on and whatnot. But you can redirect it and you can have it reposted elsewhere. So Instagram is another great one where if your company is very visually based, like Bloomers, for example, a lot of their stuff is decor and very aesthetically pleasing stuff. Snap a photo for Instagram. It's a one-button click to have it posted on Instagram, and that will redirect to Twitter, redirect to Facebook, redirect to whatever other site that you want to have. That way, you're saving time. You're getting your maximum reach across your potential audience base without having to dedicate a lot of time to it.
Now, does that Instagram, is that the one that goes away after so long?
No, that's Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Snapchat is more about talking.
No, I'm catching it, but
Yeah. So
It is 1 o'clock,
yeah.
so thank you, Rob, for coming, and we'll continue this as long as those of you want to stay.
Yeah.
Examiner has an Instagram.
Yes, it does. Now, I'm not as active with the Instagram for the Examiner as I am with our other main sites. I could go to a lot of the sub-sites, but it's a matter of knowing what our audience is here. Instagram, yes, there's a lot of users. Twitter, there's a lot of users. Pinterest, Facebook, there's a lot of users. And YouTube, there's a lot of users. Beyond that, a lot of the sub-sites that maybe I would use if I was in Los Angeles that focus on more of a catered, specific niche audience. Here, there might be some sites that cater towards horseback riding or hunting. That if we had something that if our business, say, like if I worked for KBE, I would be all over those sites, knowing that this is our target audience. For the Examiner, we're a much more broad range in terms of the audience base we're trying to reach. So we try to stick more to the bread and butter sites that we know the largest audience scale is going to be at. Any other questions?
I do use Facebook, have for a while, but I still.
Now, do you have it as your own personal account or the business?
I have a business page under my name,
Right.
yes.
Perfect.
So when I post business stuff, it's under my business page.
Yes.
Funny Christian community.
I'm still mostly
Church has a lot of Instagram, they post pictures because
Okay.
although I managed to do it. What I would like to see, if you're able in the future,
So
to
somebody
do a workshop where we can bring our laptops in.
Absolutely.
And if we're somewhere where there's a Wi-Fi signal, and, I mean, that would help me way more than someone saying, because I've been this route, when someone
Yes.
says, all you have to do.
Yeah.
And bullshit.
Yeah, no, and that's the growing up with the technology versus adapting to it that I talked about. We have Wi-Fi at the Examiner. We have been talking about possibly holding a open house at the Examiner of coming in and teaching people like my process for creating videos for the Examiner, and here's how we edit and everything else. And that would be a great opportunity to also showcase all the social media work that we do and how that can apply to your own business as well. Tilly and I can certainly talk about setting something up like that in the near future, but we have been talking about doing an open house. I'd be happy to help out people either on an individual level or if you want to coordinate with the chamber, some sort of workshop to showcase where I could bring in my laptop and present some examples. Anyone else could bring in their computers and we could do some real-time things of take some photos of your business and bring them in, and we'll go through the process of actually posting those on site so you can learn step by step. Here's how you do it.
One suggestion then, make it a part 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we don't come in and somebody that's already been through part 1, 2, and 3, and you're on 4, and I have no clue what you're talking about. You see, that workshop would be great. Because it's always good, like YouTube. Okay, I can go on YouTube for a special application I'm looking for.
Right.
Okay, I can follow along, I can pause it, I can go to another computer and work with it. But sitting there listening to you now, I got bad hearing anyway, and you have a good voice, so don't misunderstand me. But I'm going.
I worked in radio for years, so.
Yeah, good. But if that happened, I would be more than happy, or we would be more than happy to go and start. And so we could learn as you progress through this process.
Sure, and I would love to see local businesses be more active in social media. Everything here is interconnected. I know sometimes we feel like we're competing against each other for client base, but when one company improves, it improves the entire economy here. And that's really been the goal of LCP and operations like LCRI in terms of lifting everyone up with it. And the more we are active in our social media base, the more it helps out everybody staying interconnected, being aware of what's going on in the community, knowing about upcoming events, knowing about specials that are going on. And that still works great with all the traditional avenues of radio advertising and traditional print advertising through the Examiner or mailings, flyers that go through Postal Service. It's a matter of sharing information, and the more information we have shared, the better off we're all going to be.
Well, I also wanted to just suggest, if the workshop is a fee-based thing, I'm okay with that as long as it isn't exorbitant, because people should be paid for their time. So I don't know how you want to work that out.
We've got a couple of different avenues that we're looking at, working with some workforce development people. That'll be, one of which will be doing our program for next month, and some areas in town where we can do that too, so I can confirm.
This is also something, one of the sites that I mentioned was LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is more so about business networking and individuals being able to post their resumes and achievements, academics, awards, and stuff like that. It's a great way to promote yourself if you're looking for a job or you're looking to hire someone. So this is something we could also do through Department of Human Services in terms of helping local people who are currently seeking employment or companies who are looking for possible new employees to add in, to know here's an additional avenue in order to reach people, to let them know, hey, we have this position available, or here's my background and skills, which may apply perfectly to your company as a possible candidate to bring in. It's like I said, it's all about information and sharing information and being aware. Last night, when the news about David Bowie broke, within 5 minutes, millions of people knew about it. And this was late at night. This was 10:30 at night, and millions of people knew within 5 minutes. That shows the power of social media.
I can attest to that. From posting a picture of Flo, we're getting responses all hours of the night.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. These people must just stay up all night waiting for their home phone to go ding, and, go on. So there is a positive. Now we got to learn how to utilize it in our business.
And I'm happy to help you out. Here, let me give you a business card.
We're right across the street.
Yes. But I'm happy to let you know in more detail and even guide you through some of the basics. And maybe if we have a workshop, great. If you just want me to come in sometime, if I can find a time between my work with the newspaper, I'm happy to come in and show you some of the basics to help you present not only your floats, but also what you can do with your business.
Well, the floats, I don't have anything to do with the company that I work for.
Right.
But it's a contact that, like you're saying, people are going to it and commenting on those things. So
Yes.
that's where we can utilize in our business some way that same kind of presentation.
Absolutely.
Where people are going to react to be able to either sell something, and I'll sell it, ship it out of town to some out of town client.
Exactly.
And we do custom T-shirts or clothing. They're like that Universal on your shirt, Fiesta Parade quotes, over at Les Schwab, if they would come to us locally, but they've got to go to their company. Banners, Lake County Chamber and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's no reason why the custom work that you're doing has to stay within Lake County. It can go cross country, it can go globally if need be, if people know about your work and the potential of the quality of it. I see a lot of stuff even around here. I grew up in Eugene, and I see stuff made by Eugene Silkscreen.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
And Eugene's a 4-hour drive away. Why are they getting business here? Well, they have a good online presence where they have a customer base beyond their borders. We feel like we're so isolated here, like we're out in the middle of nowhere, we're this little oasis, but we can bridge that gap and connect on a global scale.
See, where I can be competitive with Eugene, for example, they have a lot bigger building, more employees. We have 2 people in a small building, so I can be very competitive price-wise.
Right.
And so we have some advantages unless I get to a point where I want to hire some people. But that's in the future. But I can still be very competitive with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Good, nice
Use
talking
the
to
file
you.
cards either for contact information to get from Kurt, or else please give us a rating. 1 to 5 comments or suggestions would be awesome.
Just like-
You know,